Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button. I fixed my microphone volume. Okay, we're back to normal. So as you guys know, we released this free plugin, no webcam. Today we're just going to go through sounds. And this free plugin is called Sampler 2 at BusyWorksBeats.com/sample. And we give you 50 factory library sounds for free. We're redoing the interface, so you guys will see an update really soon. So here the presets look very obvious from the samples so that people can understand the difference between a preset and a sample. Long story short, you can now drag samples onto layers here, and each layer can load up different samples that you can loop and do different things. So we'll start from scratch. Let's hit init so we can start from absolute scratch. Let's open up a library. We're going to go to our factory library here. There's other libraries we have at BusyWorksBeats.com. You can even import third-party libraries. We do not sell third-party libraries, by the way, but as long as the library includes the SFZ file, like Sky Keys and Scorch from Software Audio, you can load up those sounds inside of the sampler. So shout out to Jacob from Software Audio. Shout out to Sky Keys team over there. What we're going to do is load up factory library here. Okay. And then we have other libraries from BusyWorksBeats.com. So let's just start from scratch. You can hit random and it will fill out everything for you. That's a very fun thing to do because it sounds very good. We're going to go to factory library. Let's go to guitar. Now we're going to drag the sample onto a layer. Boom. Now we have a guitar layer just like that. All right. And let's say we want some kind of keys. So let's go to keys. Now these presets are different than samples. Okay. So you can sort samples instead of presets. Presets are combinations of samples. Okay. So each sample, just like in Omnisphere, how you can load up your own sample at the root level. Let's load up some kind of piano. And then let's go back and let's scroll down. Let's see what else we have. Let's open up some brass and let's do some kind of string. So now all these instruments can play at once, and we can go to the main tab and turn the levels up. Now one of these sounds is like clogging up. I can't tell if it's the brass or the string. All right, so that tone you guys hear is the new looping feature. So if you guys go to the loop area, you can turn off loops per layer. This makes it so that basically you can control how the sample loops, and it creates a unique tone. All right, now let's introduce the brass back in. Sometimes the loops on a certain interval. All right, so what we can do from here is do different things like shift the octave of the guitar. We could pan the guitar to the right. We can do the same thing with the piano, pan it to the left. Now we're creating a spread sound. We can turn that on the brass so it's not conflicting with the strings as much. From here, we can turn on the synth layer, completely optional. The synth is buzzy by default because we start off on a saw, but you guys can click random and it creates nice tones for you guys just like that. Just gonna pull down the cutoff filter. Just turn down that level so it blends better. All right, so now we're going to blend in that synth layer. Now you guys don't have to be fancy sound designers, okay? This plugin is really meant for just having fun with sound and not overthinking anything. Let's add some chorus, let's add some delay. We can also go to the front page here and turn these quick effects on. Okay, but we can go granular under the effects tab. We can go in here and add in a bunch of effects from distortion pedals to spring reverbs to granular effects. Let's add granular. Let's pull this up an octave. Turn the mix level up. Let's add the size. Let's make the sizes chunkier. Let's add more random painting to it. Pull this level down. Now we have a unique sound. Now if you want to take it further, we can go to the bottom and add texture. My favorite is the crickets. So let's add some crickets in here. We could turn the level down so it's barely audible. Now we've even added, we're going to be adding a new section here where you can randomize the mod matrix. Still deciding on the ratios, so I haven't locked that in just yet. Now there's also a one-shot area. You guys were asking for one-shots. You can also drag in samples from your browser. So we're in FL Studio right now. We're going to drag in, instead of the brass, let's swap it out for an 808, for example. We're going to drag it over here. Let's add alternative panning. So now the 808 is part of the sound, and you can loop the 808. Here, I'll mute everything else so you guys can hear just the 808. Let's turn off the granular effects, and let's turn off the synth. Okay, so now we can hear just the 808. So yes, you can drag in your own samples here. We can go to the main tab and use the ADSR to up the release. Okay, so let me show you guys how to quickly do this. We're going to click on the 808, click on loop mode. Let's do something weird like alternative forward and backward looping. We just got to change the loop start area. And then we can change the width of the loop so we can make it smaller. So now we're creating really unique sounds that just didn't exist before. And we could change the crossfade algorithm there. Again, these sounds never existed before. All right, let's change the loop mode. So it's probably best to use tight for bass sounds that are very fast. Now we're just gonna mess with the crossfade so it's a little bit smoother. Now the sound wasn't meant to loop. We also have an auto tune feature, so if you guys have samples that are not tuned to middle C, okay, we could change the tuning just like that. Okay, we could be on the sample all day long. It wasn't even meant to loop, but I'm just showing you guys that's the type of stuff we can add in here. Pull it up an octave. Let's pull it down just one more octave here. Now we have a super unique sound that just didn't exist before. Pull down one more octave so it's playable. There we go. Alright, now we can go back and add our effects. So I'm just showing you guys, again, this plugin, I made it so you don't have to be a sound design expert. The whole point is just click stuff and just have fun clicking stuff. You don't need to be treating this like serum. Let's add a little attack. We can even add drive to our filter. Send it underwater, get that Drake effect. Let's turn down the master volume here. We can go to the mod matrix, for example, set an LFO, or I just added aftertouch recently, so let's go to tuning. And again, these updates will be out soon enough. So when I press down on my keys, we're changing the tuning of the note. Let me open the filter just a little bit. Hear the tuning change? That's me pushing down harder on my keys to create what's called aftertouch. Just a really, really unique approach to sound design here. So one more feature I want to show you guys, which I showed you guys on a live stream, I think. Click random, and this will randomize everything about the plugin that is safe. Like, I'm not going to just turn on distortion on you guys. So here it loaded up a Scorch sound. It will pick from any sounds you guys have in your library. Again, we have different expansions and different libraries at busyworksbeats.com. We don't sell Scorch, but you guys can load up Scorch sounds inside of the plugin. As long as it has what's called SFZ. All right, so this is literally randomizing, most of the parameters in the plugin. We asked our AI assistant, I said, how many presets can this create? If we have this many presets or this many source sounds with this many parameters, what are the possible amount of presets? It told me 25 nonillion, okay? And if you include all the sounds, it said 10 decillion. In other words, infinite presets. Okay, and again, you don't need the paid libraries just to get sound out of here. We have a free factory library that you guys can use the random feature on. You just don't have access to the higher, deeper sound quality from other libraries. And the plugin's free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/sample. All right, remember guys, we're hitting random. These are random presets. Then we'll go back to the factory library, go through some of the sounds just so you guys know the type of sounds you can create with the factory library. I haven't heard these sounds because they've never been created before. Now this one I would probably pull back on the release tail, pull back the attack curve. Maybe add a little more filter sweeps. So in this case, I would go to the mod matrix, add an LFO over the filter just so it has a little bit more motion, and just slow this down. So something like this. Even this is a little fast, let's slow it down even further. All right, let's turn on alternative panning just to widen out the sound a little bit. Whenever you load a sound source, it will load up the library that it came from as the artwork here. Let's hit random one more time and then we'll go through the factory sounds. So you guys asked me, to make the loading faster. So when you open up the plugin, it doesn't take a year and a day to load anymore. We fixed that. So I like the sound. Let's just go to the mod matrix and turn down the range here. You can even add glide between the notes and vibrato right on the front page. So I didn't really talk about the one-shot area. This is where you can go through a whole library of factory one-shots, and you can also import your own one-shots in here. And essentially, it's similar to the synth layer. It just gives you a little more control over looping, ADSR, and just different things. But these are one-shot samples, different than the source sounds, because the source sounds have what are called multi-samples, okay, from our libraries. They're much more in-depth. One-shots are just one sample of one sound. Okay, so that's a difference. Now, let's initialize this. Let's go to our factory, and let's go to presets. So presets are combinations of sounds I've made for you guys. You get presets by default. So let's just go to some of these. All right, so if it's too bitey, we can go to the effect tab, look for any drive. Let's turn that off. Also look for the pedal in case that's turned on. This one I think was supposed to have this much drive on it from the filter. All All right, so that's one preset. Let's go to Z, and you can arrow through presets using this arrow system up here. So this is a lead here. Let me turn it down. Really nice sounds for you guys. Again, these are factory sounds. All right, so again, you guys can just quickly arrow. You can also click on the preset window. It will open up the preset browser. You can sort by the library, and you can sort by the category of sound. And you can also, I said sort, but I meant to say filter. You can filter by the library. You can filter by the category of sound, and then you can sort by A through Z, the category or the rating. We have a rating system here as well. So that way you can navigate a little bit quicker through presets and see the type of sound it is. All right, so again, just going through sounds here for you guys. So again, you can use your pitch wheel. Create those like California bends. Again, guys, these are factory sounds. Okay, I just want to make that extremely clear. This is just the factory sounds. It comes with 50 source sounds, our libraries that we have at busyworksbeats.com. Between different libraries like Halo 3D, for example. And what else do we have in here? Halo 3D has 130 sounds in there. Helios has 100 sounds. Hercules has 250 plus sounds. Hypnos has 120 plus sounds. So altogether, it's like 600 sounds in our full sampler 2 bundle at busyworksbeats.com/sample. So that's, you know, the factory has 50 source sounds. The rest is 600 other source sounds, okay, plus presets. So let's go over here. Let's keep going through some of these presets. Again, I just want to show you guys the power of the factory library here. So even the synth stuff doesn't feel synthy. It doesn't feel like plastic and weak. It's because we've added in a new, it's deeper than just this portion, but we've also, I should say, added in a new analog strip for you guys that gives that extra analog depth because it adds dimension to the sound. So we've added this on all presets. This is now included. Feel the sounds, they don't feel plasticky and fake. If you go to the synth layer, you can see the source sounds involved. So none of these are samples. This is coming from our synth engine here. You can check the one-shot area. These aren't one-shots. This is purely our synth engine. So it shows just the power of, like, you know, getting started on this plugin. And you guys can sell your own libraries as well. You can save your own presets. You can make your own library. You just have to save, I'll probably make a different video about it. You have to save your multi-samples as what's called SFZ, okay? And then users can click where it says add, and they can find a folder with your SFZ files in there that map to the wave multi-samples, and they can load up their library just like that. So you guys can actually sell your own sample libraries and use the BusyWorks Beats sampler as your platform. Similar to Contact, we're trying to make it easier for people. Okay, so it's less arduous than Contact. Okay, and all you got to do to create a background image is save your image. We're going to give you guys the ratios and everything. Save it as cover.png and then put it in the same folder as your SFZ file with your multi-samples, and you can load up your own libraries, okay? So you don't have to go through me. There's no special, like, there's no like weird council you have to go to sell your banks, guys. The only thing is we encrypt the samples. So basically people who are trying to spread your samples around the internet, it won't work unless they actually have, you know, a license to it. So if you guys want all that, we can set that up for you guys. Those are protected samples. So people can't just jack your samples, okay? We have an encryption process. So anyhow, all right, so now I want to show you guys like the power of this. Again, the coolest thing is hitting random and just letting the synth do its magic, because it truly just is a synth that you can't think. It just is. I don't know how to explain that. So then I can analyze the sound. I can go to the synth layer. Maybe I don't like that buzzy saw. I could just turn it off, or maybe add a filter to it, or change the tuning of it, because right now there must be a mod source on the tuning. Oh, you know what it is? It's it's a sustain pedal issue. So I had to just exit the instance there. Sometimes that happens in FL with my sustain pedal. All right, we have a new legato mode. Before it used to drop out the sample. Now it's a little more forgiving on what we're trying to do with the sample. Jeez, check out this sound, guys. Crazy sound. So the one shot is creating that piano tone, but layered with the synth sounds dope. I could probably turn the synth down, so let's go to synth. We also have another sound kind of looping. Let's go to the one-shot area, figure out which sound it is. You can also tune these samples as well. You can hit auto tune, it will tune the samples if they're. Some samples are not. There we go. So this Houston loop. We can also add effects to this. We've added different things like pitch delay, so you guys can turn this up and it will pitch the delay and add other tones. You can do the same thing for reverb. We have a pitch knob here, and we can reverse the reverb. We can make it long tail. Let's make it a long tail reverb. You can add filters now to your reverb. So now it's reversing and it's tuning it down. So it's half speeding the reverb and it's reversing it, which was my proprietary sound design idea years ago. I finally put it in plugin form. So you guys can get crazy with the effects. Let's just hit random. Let's do like 3 more sounds. See what we can find here. Now some of these are just so dope, I saved them as presets. That's how dope the random tool is. Like this one right here, this is getting saved. It feels so analog. So firstly, I'm gonna save this. That sounds crazy. Let's call it World Tour. And then you could save it in different libraries. So I'm gonna save it in my user preset library, hit save. And just like that, we have a new preset, and that's how you guys can sell your presets on your websites. Now, if you're trying to sell a whole library of source sounds, that's a different process. I'm gonna have to make a different video about that. Like, listen to how real this feels. It feels like a real synth. It doesn't have that digital, powdery, scrappy sound. That's a crazy sound right there. Nuts. So again, 25 million presets, guys. This one sounds crazy too. So when you have better source sounds like in Halo 3D, Helios, Hercules, Hypnos, these are better source sounds. Gives you more material to build unique sounds. This one sounds dope too. I'm gonna save this. Let's call it, I don't know, Zombie Attack. So man, I just want you guys to have fun. Make your own preset banks. Put them in your stores, your sound design stores. Let's create some unique stuff. Like, listen to these sounds, you guys. Man, let me just hit one more. Man, the sounds are so good. I just want to hit random one more time. It's like that. One more time. Let me hit random. Because you never know the sounds you'll get out of this. Now, this one sounds very different. It's like this. So first, there's a lot of tuning here. So let's turn off the synth. Let's go to the one-shot area. This is usually where... Okay, so one of these, let's hit auto-tune. If that doesn't correct it, we just need to figure out what... Okay, so this zap layer here. So now it's more in tune. I think after we hit auto-tune, it fixed the issue. So this sound is super different. So let's add a little more drive on it. I just want to hear what it sounds like. A little more edge tone. Switch out the harmonics. And there's like some kind of texture or something on this. I got to figure out where that textural tone is coming from. I think it's a looping sound. Maybe it's a one shot. Okay, so one of the one shots. It's hard to pinpoint. If I had to guess, it's oh, also I meant to mention you can actually switch out round robin on the one shots for those who like multi keys. So it will cycle through each one shot. So every time you hit a key, it's different. Now the sound you're hearing, the main sound is not the one shot area. So let me turn these off. So it's choosing a different one shot each time I hit a key. So that's called round robin, or it could do random. So it just picks from a random one shot. Now these sounds, one of these is like a brass. So what you can also do is randomize per layer. So we can get rid of that other tone there. So now every note I hit is random. And it just adds another, pardon me, a layer to your sound. Unpredictable. Pull the master level down for all one shots. And then we can go to reverb. Let's do ping pong delay. We could also sync the delay. We can also tune the delay if I didn't already mention that. So this means one note can do a lot. Let's have some granular. It almost has the melodies like dum dum boom dum 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 dum. Now this sound, I'd probably use it as a pad more so. Let's hit random one more time. So again, imagine guys, you have 600 source sounds to choose from with the Sampler 2 bundle. And nobody's gonna have these sounds because literally there's so many ways to create a sound. It's 25 nillion. Nobody's ever gonna have your same preset when you hit random. Let's figure out that dun sound. There we go. Man, but we made some dope presets. Let's go to user presets just to show you guys some of the presets I created from those random patches. You just never know what that random button can create. All right, so again, it's taking all these source sounds from different analog gear that I have behind me. There's no camera here, guys, but I have a Yamaha DX7, Prophet 6, Prophet 08, Moog Subsequence 37. These are just some of the sound sources. A lot of the sound sources were also from Canada. We went up to Synth Palace, sampled a lot of rare analog gear. So a lot of those source sounds are in this plugin. That's why it doesn't feel like a digital synth on top of the analog strip we added in. Like I said, guys, I said 3 more presets and we're like 30 more in. So you guys will get caught up in this plugin as well. It just pulls you in. So go download it for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com, download the download manager, and then you guys can find Sampler 2 right inside the download manager. Let me show you guys what the download manager looks like. All right, so if you go to where it says plugins, we can scroll down, go to where it says Sampler 2, and then under libraries, you want the factory library. These will be free. The rest are paid libraries. Okay, so in bundles, if you guys want to level up instantly, just go to Sampler 2 Complete Bundle. This is the 150 gig library where, you know, most of the deeper sounds you guys are hearing, the source sounds are from here. All right, so thank you guys for watching this game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace out, guys.